April marks the 2-year anniversary of this YouTube channel, Chris Sloan's YouTube channel, and it's been full of ups and downs, some incredible ups and some pretty low downs at the same time. And we get a lot of people asking, should I do YouTube? Should I not do YouTube? And all the rest of it. And that's not for me to answer, to be honest. However, what I can do is I'll tell you my story from the very beginning of this YouTube journey all the way through to today. And that's what this episode is about. This is my YouTube journey. Everything, the good, the bad, the financials, all of that kind of stuff. I'll break that down into exactly how much I earn from YouTube as well. So stick around for that a little bit later in this podcast. But welcome to the Just Loans podcast. I'm Chris. And in each episode, we'll be sharing stories from our travels, some practical tips and tricks, and we'll also be going over some contentious issues, some things that might divide audiences, things a little bit like what's better, football or rugby? Well, before we get into that, I just want to start off with a little story because I'm nearly 38 and I know I look young, don't I? But anyway, I'm nearly 38 and one thing I have really started to notice is that sleep is like proper valuable now. I don't know whether it's because I'm getting older or I just value sleep and sort of feeling refreshed a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure. However, on a Monday and a Tuesday, so it's Tuesday today when I'm recording this, but on a Monday and a Tuesday, I play football. So Monday it's 5-a-side and Tuesday it's 9-a-side. Now, both of them football matches are on from 8 o'clock at night until 9. Like, who do they think I am? I'm not kidding. Like, now, I don't know if it is just an age thing, but all I'm thinking before I go is like, oh, I'm going to be wired when I get back and I'm never going to get to sleep. When was that a thing? And on top of that, when I get home, I eventually get to sleep after I settle down a little bit because I'm proper over height. And then I wake up the next morning injured. I wasn't injured when I went to bed. I can't have done much while I was in bed. I was asleep. Even if I got up to loads of mad stuff when I was asleep, I was in bed. It's all padded. And yet I wake up with a sleep-related injury. Is that the sign? Is that I suppose the official confirmation that I'm now old? Is that where I've gotten to? Is that where my life is now? Honestly, it's brutal. So like I say, last night, everything was fine. I got home from footy. Everything was not an issue. I'm not really aching or anything like that. This morning, my ankle's sore, my back's sore, my shoulder's sore. I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't feel my arm. I thought I'd been amputated during the night. I don't know what was going on. But anyway, that is what it is. Let us know if that's just a sign of age. In the comments below. Before we get into this podcast fully, I want to sort of just mention the sponsor of the podcast, which obviously is our travel guide. So if you are planning a road trip to the beautiful country of Scotland, then we've got you covered for pretty much anywhere you would want to go, whether it's the Cairngorms, the Outer Hebrides, Orkney, Shetland, Mull, Arran, Harris, all of that sort of stuff. We've got the instant guides available, which cover all of them. The mobile optimized guides available for your phone, work on tablets and stuff too. They come with a digital map and all the rest of it. It's more of like a rough sort of broad guide to point you in the right direction, but to let you sort of plan more using that. Then we also have the paperback guides available. We've got 5 of them currently. We've got the Isle of Arran, we've got the Outer Hebrides, we've got the Ultimate Scottish Road Trip, the NC 500 Improved, and also the Borderlands 320. These are much more detailed to have everything that you need to have in it, whether it's pit stop recommendations. The NC 500 one has sections where it'll warn you before you get to a narrow road, all of that sort of stuff. So if you're looking to plan that, then pick a copy of them up in the description. There's a link to them. And also, a lot of our topics lately are covering things that we covered previously in a newsletter. If you want to be part of the conversation, you want to join in, you want to have your say in what we talk about in these podcasts, then you can join the mailing list at the link in the description. And in return for joining the mailing list, we'll also send you a free guide to the Isle of Arran. So that's that out the way. Now, before I get into it fully as well and sort of start the journey side of it, you might hear us referring to myself as a professional YouTuber. And what does that mean? Now, and I'm getting, like, a lot of people will probably think, like, is professional YouTuber, is that a thing? Like, how big does your channel have to be a professional YouTuber. But to me, when I define professional, success, money, that kind of thing just doesn't, that's not it. That's not what I mean by being a professional. Being a professional to me is being a professional, turning up, working hard. On the days when I don't want to do it, I get up and I do it. Whether that is trying to try new things, such as the podcast as an example. And while I'm on that, if you're watching on YouTube, what do you think of this set? How good is this? This is the corner of my office that we've been like really working on to try and make it look a little bit better, sound a little bit better. I've got a little woolly hat up there. Thank you to Gary and Candy for sending us that. It is nearly May, so a little bit late, but we'll wear it in the winter. So thank you very much for sending that across. It means a lot. But yeah, like that, it means turning up every day, doing it when you don't want to do it, really soaking yourself in and giving it 100%. So I don't make YouTube videos. YouTube isn't a hobby. To me, I am a YouTuber, and that is a difference. There's a complete different approach, I would say, between doing YouTube and being a YouTuber. Now, if I can, I'm going to lead in and give a little bit of advice. And I know I'm only 37, not quite 38, but I've done a bit in my time. And so I've got a tattoo on my arm, and whether you're watching or not, and whether you can even see it on there, it says seek discomfort. And seeking discomfort to me is the best way of growing. So the scariest decisions, the hardest decisions, all of that sort of stuff is where I've always felt I've grown the most. They've been the best things I've done in my life, have always been the ones that have absolutely terrified us. Like, that's just how it is. And if you want to be something, whether that be, say, a professional photographer, if we'll use that as an example, you're either a professional photographer or you're not. There's not a test. You didn't need permission. You didn't need anything written down. You didn't need a certificate. You either are a professional photographer or you're not a professional photographer. That's it. You either are or you're not. If you're treating, say, photography, if it's your dream, like if you've got a side hustle and it's a hobby that you do on the side, and that's all you want it to be, and you just want it to be a hobby, it's not your dream job, but it's just something you quite enjoy doing and it's on the side, that's fine. But if it's a dream job and it's a side hustle, why? Why is it a side hustle? To me, what I would say, and how most people do it, I would say, is because if it's a side hustle, you can't fail. And it's not as scary. To go out and say, I'm now a professional photographer, I'm starting a business, I'm really treating it as a job, this is now my job, and it's a scary jump, but that's what I'm going to do. You can either be successful, which is great, but there's a good chance you might fail. And that is a scary thing for a lot of people, because people didn't want to be that person that goes off and does that thing and then has to come back crawling back for the job, and everyone else is like, he's back. I knew it wouldn't last. But guess what? Them people that are saying that, and the people that are laughing at you if you do fail, they've never done anything and will never do anything. The people that also are like you, the people like me who will put me neck on the line, that'll put my balls on the table and say, I'm going to go for it, and never going to shame other people that also do that. People don't shout downwards. It's the people that are scared themselves, the people that don't want to do it themselves, the people that might not even have anything that they're good at. Them are the ones that'll mock you. Do you really give a shit? So, although this podcast wasn't meant to be, I suppose, about any sort of advice like that, I would honestly say, if you've got a dream and it's something that you can try, do it. Don't be scared of failing. Don't be scared of even being successful. That can be a thing as well. But if you genuinely do have that as a dream, the only way it's ever going to happen is if you go for it. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Now, my dream has always been to make things, to do photography, videography, just make stuff. I just love making. That is me. Whether it's a book, I love learning new skills. I'm very addictive. I soak myself 100%. When everyone else isn't thinking about it, I still am. And I do get good at things generally pretty quickly, but it's not. I don't necessarily. It seems like I do, but that's just because I absolutely obsess over it. So all day, every day, that's all I think about. And it comes with its positives, obviously, but it also has a lot of negatives. So it is what it is. If you're not like that, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is if you really have a dream and you want to go for it, then go for it. Don't wait for anyone. No one's going to do it for you. Go for it. And you can make it happen. But anyway, I don't know how that one ended up like that. That wasn't necessarily what I was intending to talk about. But anyway, so the start of the YouTube channel. Initially, I started the YouTube channel because, I've done YouTube before, not to this scale at all. It was basically, I've had like a gaming channel, I've had sort of flight sim news channels and bits and bobs like that over the years. I've made videos since probably I was about 14. I used to use Call of Duty as the sort of cinematic side, and I would record the screen essentially, whether that be on a phone or a camcorder kind of thing, or on DVD. I used to see it on DVD. And then what I would do is I'd take that into, I think it was called Pinnacle Studio Max, and I used to edit that and then get some friends to talk over the top of it, put music over the top of it, and create like a cinematic video. I was a proper little nerd. I still am. And anyway, so I've done YouTube for a while. And when I met Danny, I'd watched Afterlife, and I don't know if you've seen it. It's Ricky Gervais, whether you like him or not. I was a little bit undecided till I watched that. Now I really, really like him. It's a hard watch. It's hilarious, and it's brutally heartbreaking, all in one. It's hard. So anyway, I watched that, and then when I met Danny like 3 years ago or so, we decided like I'm gonna make videos just for us to look back on further down the line. When we're going on road trips, when we're going places, whatever it is, we'll record like a vlog, which I've done before. I'd made vlogs well before I met Danny as well. And then I'll edit them. How I edit the videos now, same sort of thing. And then I'll just keep them for us. Won't watch them back. And that's what I've done. And then eventually I got to a point where I bought the Grand California. And I watched all these reviews, and I've touched on them in a previous episode. But like, the reviews kind of sold me down the river a little bit because they were all full of shit. The YouTubers trying to make a living, which I will get to later in the video, but a review that is sponsored or paid for or in return for the goods. So if you're lending a Grand California for a week, it's not a review, it's an advert. You're not going to be honest. You might have like the minor nitpicky things that they're not going to be bothered about if you cover them. But other than that, you're not going to be telling the truth. You're just not. And that's fine. But anyway, that's what kind of led me to buy the Grand California to a degree. So I decided I need to make a review, like an actual review, like an honest one from someone that has the Grand California, that has used it, because I'd used it all winter. I'd had no bother with it. And I thought, I'm going to do it. So I did. I knew it was going to do well, even though the video itself was crap. The audio was awful. The intro was far too long. Like in hindsight now, I think if I remade it now and went back to that exact time when it was still sort of relevant, I think I could have gotten double the views it did, even though it done really well. But the thumbnail and title were just perfect. It was like the Grand California, grass and a blue sky with regret, massive writing regret. And I was like, that is the one. And it done now actually initially. And then after about 2 weeks, it started doing well. And like the next 2 weeks, it done 100,000 views. And then after that, it's on about 520,000 views now, which is obviously great. And what that led is to be monetized. So if you're not sure about YouTube, you can't just get paid like for nothing. You get paid once you become a partner. And to become a partner, there's certain things you need to achieve. So I think at the time it was 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time and something else. Anyway, I hit that off that one video. I thought, this is great. I didn't have any plans on making more than one video. It was just, I'm going to make this video about the Grand California. And obviously, with how well it done, it's like, well, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I can become a YouTuber. So I did. But then I got a reality check. I got like put exactly where I should have been. So the worst thing I would say, not the worst thing, but one of the worst things that can happen on a new YouTube channel is to basically get a video that just blows up like mine did. Because now you think you know more than you do. You think you're on a high. You haven't had anything negative necessarily. You ain't prepared for now because it's new. And you have to sort of drip feed yourself into the comments, the upload schedule, the thumbnails, titles, and you sort of learn as you go. And YouTube is it's not a bad thing. As much as it might be slow for a lot of people, a lot of the time it's slow for a lot of people because the videos are just shit. And that's fine. Like, you get better over time. The more you make, the better you get, and you learn, like, actually people want to watch this, or actually I didn't enjoy this type of video, I'm going to make something else. That's not what happened to me. And I got addicted to the bloody YouTube Studio app. So it's a bit like sudden social media. You get an app on your phone called YouTube Studio. It's all the stats that you get on the computer version, but on your phone. You can do the little swipe down and it refreshes. And then when you've got video going viral, you swipe down, you might have like another 1,000, 2,000 views. You're like, what the hell? It's like you're in a casino, but you're winning all the time until you're not, which is what happened next. So after that, I made 14 more videos in the next 8 weeks, which is some gun. Now on averaging 2 a week when you're a new YouTube is hard. Doing it now is almost impossible, to be fair. But none of them done well. They're all just flopped, which was fine. I made a couple of NC500 videos, which done okay, but my language was atrocious. Why did you take that long to tell us that I had a full-blown potty mouth? Even Danny hadn't sort of pointed out at that point how bad my language was. It was only when people were commenting saying your language is disgusting, this, that, and the other, and YouTube was not promoting them videos. I was making no money off them because, again, it's not, that sort of thing's not suitable for advertising. Like, if I'm a brand, I'm not wanting adverts being put on top of something where someone's just swearing nonstop. And then I watched it back and I was like, oh, shite. My language is awful. So I hid them. I didn't want people getting the wrong impression. And in full fairness, that was a bit of a turning point for me and just my language. I still swear a lot, but not as much as I used to. It was literally every other word. So thanks to them people that commented. But then I made the ultimate Scottish road trip video. So we'd done the NC500 and I liked it. I enjoyed it. But I thought, it's not the best road trip in Scotland. And that's kind of, although at the time, well, not at the time, but I suppose most people, and I was the same, didn't realize the whole, like, the origin story of the NC500, which I am going to cover in a future podcast, because people see it as like it's the ultimate road trip. It's like the Scottish road trip, and it's not. Obviously, it's designed to bring tourism to an area that needs it. It just so happens that there's nice areas, but it wasn't designed to show you the best of Scotland, not at all. So I decided to make a video saying, like, and again, I knew it would do well. It was like the NC500 road sign with "Do not do the NC500" on the thumbnail. That one done like 80,000 views in the first day. I was like, I'm back, baby. I was buzzing. And then I thought, you know what? Like, it's been ups and downs. I've had 2 videos do well. The rest haven't, but I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. And I can see this being a full-time thing, something long-term. And that was when I decided to become a professional. I decided, right, I'm going to have a strict, like, routine. I'm going to get up. I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to put the time in. I'm going to learn. I'm going to research. I'm going to figure out how to edit better, how to tell a better story, where, like, get better music, do sound effects. How do I do better voiceovers? All of that sort of stuff. And that's what I've done. What I wasn't necessarily prepared for, though, at this point, with the videos doing well, I suppose, was like the negative comments. And YouTube is a strange beast, I suppose, because what actually happens is, if you've never done YouTube and you've never had a YouTube channel yourself, you'll not necessarily realize this, because you watching this are probably similar to me. Like, you're a functional adult. What a lot of people who watch the videos are like is, it's as if they've been forced at gunpoint to watch the video, and then they have to give you their opinion at the end of it, and you have to know, like, you have to listen. So they'll, like, watch the video and then slate it. Like, if it was that shit, why did you watch it? Like, why would you? How boring and dull, and what sort of outlook on life do you have to think, I'm going to watch some people I hate watching all night and then leave shit reviews and comments? Like, watch something else. You didn't have to watch this. You're not being forced to watch it. But I didn't know that people done that sort of stuff. I just presume, like, I never really leave comments, if I'm honest. I didn't even really like videos. I probably should. But the comments that I leave are always when I find a YouTuber that I just think, what a great video that is. Or so just something a bit out of the norm. It's the same on, I suppose, even in reviews. I don't leave bad reviews unless it's horrendous. And I'm sort of, I suppose, wanting to warn other people. But I'll leave good reviews. But again, it has to be very good for me to leave. I'm not a reviewer, if that makes sense. So I just didn't realize that was a thing. I didn't even know how to deal with them because, again, that first video was like hundreds of comments, and so was the Ultimate Scottish Road Trip one. You get like the general shitty comments, people saying I'm fat and like just stuff like that. It's like, all right, sweet. Thanks for that feedback. And then on the review one, I'd get people saying, oh, it must be so hard because, you know, like living in that mansion house you've got with that expensive camper van, get a fucking grip. It's a review of a camper van, mate. Like, I'm there to try and help people not make the same mistakes. I'm literally saying, I've bought this van and I didn't like it. It's not me being good. Ha, look at this van. Everyone else's is shit. Like, I just didn't get it. And then, actually, I'm going to use this because I've been buying a Roadcaster for the podcast so I can adjust volume levels, and it's class. I love it. But one of the other comments I get, and I get it all the time now, and I think it's the same woman. I'm not 100% sure. But when people watch the vlogs, I think people think it's a real thing, like as if that's me day, like the full unedited day. I don't know whether they think that we just time travel between places, but we had a woman who said this in the last video.
Them poor dogs, you didn't even take them down to the beach.
How good is that? She said that, and she also said,
the poor dogs are stuck in the back of the van and it's not even very big under there.
That's fun, isn't it? But how do you know? How do you know whether we're talking about the beach? Because it's not in the video. If it's not in the video, does that mean it didn't happen? Obviously not. Think of a vlog, and if you're watching this, think of a vlog as Coronation Street. I don't know if that's a good analogy. But think of a vlog. It's an entertainment program. I'm cutting out the shit that I didn't want to put in there because I didn't think it's that interesting. And taking the dogs, if we happen to have to take the dogs to a specific area while we're videoing, then I'll maybe show the dogs or you'll see the dogs. But other than that, like, I'm not very good at multitasking. Most people are not. Like, even Danny, women, all the rest are like, well, I can multitask. Can you bollocks? You can do loads of things relatively okay, but you're not doing that well. That's just not a thing. Maybe if you're a genius, you might be good. But if you just focus, even someone like Elon Musk, if he's focusing on one thing, I can guarantee he'll do a better job of it than he would if he was focusing on 2 things or 5 things or 100 things. So what I do, and I'll let you in on a little secret, is when we're doing the vlogs, I'll do things in bits. So we'll get somewhere and we'll be like, right, how are then we're going to take the dogs for a walk first. So we do that. We didn't tap the video. And it helps us scout the place out a little bit. Is it windy? Do I need a microphone? Is it busy? Where should we go and what should we do? There's actually planning that goes into it. Then we went back on this example, the Achmelvik Beach one that we're talking about. And I hope you know who you are and I hope you are listening. Just to stop these shitty comments because no one cares about them. And then we went back to the van. We made some food and then I started vlogging. So the dogs had been to the beach. Not that it's any of your business whatsoever. But I give you the benefit of the doubt. So you get stuff like that, and like I say, you get others where it's like, well, it's the me show. Let the woman speak. She should be in it more than you. One, it is the me show. It's called Chris Sloan's. That is my name. And 2, I would much prefer Danny to be in it miles more than me. 1, it would be easier because blokes are just perverts. So all women YouTube video channels and stuff, especially van life ones, do so much better than they should just because blokes are perverts. That's it. Like, you've got, I'm not going to name them, but there's a youngish lass who's relatively pretty in a van. You should know who it is if you've watched it before. Our videos are tragic. They're awful. There's nought going on. She's just a young, pretty lass in a van. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Probably, I guarantee, about 98% of that is males. And even if it's not, women are like, oh, supporting other women and all this sort of stuff. And it's good to see a woman van life thing. So women have it much easier on YouTube, and it's a male-dominated platform. Therefore, women do better at a lot of things anyway. So I would also prefer that. Danny doesn't like being in the videos, and she would be more than happy if we didn't do them because she's not. This isn't her thing. This is my thing. YouTube. I love doing videos. I love doing photography. That's not really her thing. So that's the crack. And like I say, I'm just not I don't know. I just don't understand, and I'm not sure why people leave a negative. Like, if your only input into the world in your spare time where you've chosen to watch something is to leave a negative comment, fuck, you must have an unhappy life. You just must. Like, I get when it's a difference of opinion. And I think people struggle as well. Like, on some of the podcasts, people are like, I disagree with you. It's an opinion. It's fine. You're allowed to disagree. And if it's a constructive thing or a question, again, not an issue. But I think people just feel they know what's happening more because it's a vlog. They think they know you. They think you know everything about you because what we portray in a video, they presume is real, which it's not. Anyway, one of the best skills I have learned, and what YouTube can teach you, is the ability to reflect, I would say, because after a bit, you start to realize this isn't what I want to do. Not necessarily YouTube, but you just, when things are not going well, or even if things are going well, it can help you look at things and think, shit, this isn't what I wanted to do. And that's what happened to me. So about 6 months in, I'd been making videos I'd been making a lot of videos during that period. And in all fairness, I wasn't happy with the videos I was making. Because what I'd done is because of that first videos, I'd fallen into a trap where like the whole aim was just views. And I suppose that is, to a degree, YouTube. That is kind of the point. The more views they get you, the more subscribers you get, the more money you make. But that's great if you're being true to you and that's what you like to make. If that isn't, and you're making videos to get views, and you're making videos you don't like because you think it's going to get some views, and you're not really proud of them, because I wasn't either, then that's no good. And it's not sustainable, and it's not going to work long term. And that's what I was doing. I started doing reviews of certain things, like not paid stuff, but like Starlink, when it was new, I got it like very early. When they released the residential thing, I got it pretty much within a week. So I was like early to all the Starlink thing. It's relatively common now. I was like, right, get a review done. I mean, it's done now anyway. But either way, I just look back at any of them videos now and I'm just not proud of them. I cannot watch them. I don't like them. They're there, but it's not who the channel is, and it's not who I am, and it's not what I like to make. So I decided at that point to change the content to make more cinematic vlogs, like just something that looked cool, sounded cool. It was just a good experience to watch, like a kind of vlog film kind of thing. And I loved them. I thought they looked amazing. I thought they were so much better than a lot of other videos that are out there. I basically started to make the stuff that I like to watch and the things that I like to make. Now, I don't watch other van YouTubers. I just think the content, generally speaking, is boring. I don't want to watch other people live their lives, and there's a huge audience for that, but that's just not for me. So instead, I look to other YouTubers in other genres, and that's what I sort of aspire to. So a lot of the intros you'll notice is that's normally when I experiment with learning new techniques, whether it's an animation or whatever. And you can normally tell what I've been watching off that. And that's what I got back into, making something cool, just something where I'm like, that intro is, I don't know, based on, say one of them recently, I've done a very cinematic intro. And it's because we've been watching The Gentleman, the series, the Guy Ritchie thing, and I loved it with the classical music and the cinematic feel and all of that. And then I put some CGI looking bats or birds that flew across and write like texts, whereas the van drove over it, it dissipated, and I loved it. And it was such a fantastic experience. I mean, the video didn't do that well, but I loved making it. And it's nice to sometimes just make things just because you want to make them. And that's what I decided to do. But anyway, then I came to sort of the end of 2022, the first year. Things had picked up, things had done well. I'd had like a massive start. It died off, then it picked up again towards the end of the year. So the end of the year stats, including like the financial stuff, I'll cover that now. So 2022, I finished on 1 million views, which is massive. That's insane for a first year, especially in this sort of genre. 73,500 hours watch time, 7,100 subs, and I'd made £3,041.61 in AdSense. However, £2,000 of that was just from 2 videos. The rest hadn't really made as much. But I suppose it's fine. $3,000. I mean, obviously, it cost us a lot more than that to make, and I was using a lot, like, even my gear is worth a lot more than that. So it's not like I made any profit, but I made some money. Happy days. Okay with that. Then, unfortunately, about 6 months later, I had to reflect again, because the issue I had now is I loved the videos that I was making, but I was just ruining everything to make them. I had so much gear. Every time we went on a trip, I had bloody shot lists, I had scripts, I had music pre-made, so I knew sort of what was going to go on when. I just turned into an absolute cock. Like I like proper ruined a good chunk of road trips for me and Danny. Like she's not, like I said, she's not into this kind of thing. So then when I'm expecting things to be in focus, this kind of camera angle, I want this and I want it that way. Can you do it this way? And I have to be the one in the videos because Danny doesn't really want to be. Like I can't do everything myself. And obviously Danny's not as interested in it or as knowledgeable in it as I am. So then there was a big gap in ability and interest. So it was like absorbing me, and all I could think about was this. And I'm like, right, tomorrow we need to get into these places. I need this shot here. I need an establishing shot there. I need a drone shot of this. I need a van shot of that. And I need this and I need that. It was just a nightmare. And it weren't sustainable because these sort of videos are like very expensive to make, a vlog video. They just are because you're traveling to all these places. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of investment in it. And when the videos are not doing that well, they're not making any money, and you're not now enjoying the road trip, there's no point in doing them. It's not a sustainable thing. And like I say, it was causing issues just in general between like us in terms of like, what is the point in doing this? And really at that point there wasn't. So I decided I just couldn't make this type of content all the time. I would still make it occasionally, more of when I want to make something cinematic, but just not all the time. And I struggled on until about April of 2023. And a friend, Dean, had messaged us saying, why didn't you make like a free guide to Scotland for people traveling to Scotland? And I just couldn't do now for free. I was so busy. I had so much on, and it was like I was already not making any money on YouTube. I couldn't then still make money, but then give another thing away. I just couldn't. So I decided to make the Ultimate Scottish Road Trip as like an instant guide, just the PDF one, the one that's, I mean, it's on version 3, I think now. I update them fairly regularly, but that's what I made. And it done well. I put them on sale for like a few quid. I think I put on for £4. Bearing in mind now you get 7 of them for £6. It was like 3 or 4 quid anyway. And I'd done all the other guides, the other instant guides, they all done well. And I thought we'd been on a trip to Arran. And because things had to make financial sense now, because I was just hemorrhaging money all over the place, I decided maybe we should make a proper like book. I've always wanted to make a book, always, and I don't know why. I wanted to write novels and that when I was a kid. And I don't know, there's just always been a draw to having like a physical thing that's mine that I've done. So I was like, right, I want to make a book about Arran. And at the time, Arran probably wasn't the best option for financially because there's not as much, I suppose, demand for something that covers Arran. So anyway, we ended up going on and making other paperback books for other places. So I done the Ultimate Scottish Road Trip first, NC 500, out of Hebrides, because it kind of works with them. If you're doing the Heb, you're going to need to do it through the NC 500, through Ullapool or from Ewig on Skye. So they work together that way. And then I got on to Arran, made the books. Hard work. I'd never done it. So learning how to write them, nightmare. Like the software that I use to write them doesn't have spell check. So that's a nightmare in itself. My spelling and punctuation and grammar isn't fantastic, as some of you have pointed out. Thanks for that. Learning all of that, just hard work. And another thing to then manage on top of doing YouTube. Then the website, managing that. The postal side of it, which we'd never done. That was a fucking mad learning curve, that one. But we sold the first ones. We sold out all of the initial pre-order within like a day. And we had to order more. So it worked really well. And the books don't really turn a profit, but they do help negate the loss of making the videos. And they help us make more videos as well, because if it wasn't for the books now and the guides, we would never be making YouTube anymore, because I would have had to take it on the chin and be like, it's not working and it's not financially viable. Because like YouTubers who make videos at home, if I use Aiden as an example from Urban Arc Overland, if you're not subscribed, go and watch his video. Like if you want actual opinions and actual reviews on stuff and proper tips and tricks on how to actually do stuff, he's the one you should be watching. But say a video for Aiden, he goes outside and he makes it outside his house. It's his time mainly and the equipment to make the videos. That's it. It's a lot easier financially for them to become viable. For us, if I just use the Arran one as an example, a trip to Arran, it's 50 quid for the ferry, 150 quid diesel, 50 quid food minimum. There's 200 quid. 250 quid. Minimum wage for me and Danny for that week is 400 quid each. So we'd have to make basically over £1,000 to cover the costs and pay a wage. That's not anything when we get home. That's no editing. That's no equipment used. That's none of that. That's just purely for our time at that place and getting them back. If I use my best performing hour and video I've ever made, we made in total £123 and 29 pence in AdSense. And that's since the 20th of July, 2023, when it was initially posted. So it's not get profitable, really, not without a product anyway. And it, like I say, the books have helped sort of bridge that gap. I'm not making money off them, but I'm not losing as much money anymore, which is good. But at the end of 2023, the YouTube hadn't gone well, 2023, and it's still not gone well, if I'm honest. But 2023, the end of year stats, so we've done 636,000 views, which is obviously about 400,000 less than the year before. 53,500 watch hours, which is about 20,000 hours less. 4,100 subs, which is less than I'd gotten in the full month of December the year before. And I'd made £2,485 in AdSense, so not actually that far behind in AdSense. But my top 5 earning videos for that year were all videos I'd made the year before. Because obviously, one of the, I suppose, the good things on YouTube is your back catalogue never loses its value. All them videos that you've made previously, if they keep getting views, you keep getting paid, and that happens until they stop getting views, I suppose. But my best earning video that year was that Aaron video, and at the time, I'd made £97 off it. So it wasn't a good year. But it was time to reflect again. The third coming of Sloan's. So we took 2 months off making videos because I needed to spend a bit of time working on the guides. I needed them to stand on their own 2 feet a little bit. I needed to get them ranking in Google search, all of that sort of stuff. So I had to learn all that, do all that, put a bit of time in. We needed to streamline the delivery process because it was causing chaos, especially when we travel, because we still have to post the guides while we're traveling. And it was just hard work. So I spent some time sorting all that out, getting all them working. And then we decided to change the content a little bit. I wanted to make something less cinematic, more personable, because every time I'd made videos that were a little bit more us being us, they'd done better. I decided to make stuff that I suppose showed us being us a little bit more. It's not obviously 100% us because there's a camera in your face and there's now takes you out of the moment more than wait there, let us start recording, or when we're laughing and carrying on and like trying to, like, it's hard and it's not natural. So that's a thing. And obviously it comes at a cost because now being more personable, any comments are actually directed at us as people, because now we're showing a little bit more of us as people in the videos than what we would have before. Before, people would maybe negatively comment. I mean, you get some dickheads, but still people would whinge, but more about the video. And now people would like kind of openly have a dig at you. Sad, but it happens. And it's been a strange one this year. I mean, I've done, at the minute, just even in the last 6 weeks, I've made 17 videos, which is a lot. That's the most I've ever done in this period of time. And it's been brutal. And I suppose that brings us to kind of where I'm at, because I am a bit burnt out on YouTube at the minute. It's hard. It's been great. I've had some... I think the good thing about the more personable stuff is you get you meet so many more nicer people and you feel like you've got a better connection. So that does outweigh, and we've met so many incredible people through YouTube. It's not all negative. It's not all the dickheads in the comments. You get them. But for some reason, as humans, we focus on the negative things. Probably a safety thing. I don't know why. But that is a thing. So I am loving the podcasts. I think they're great. I love making them. I love sitting here. I love discussing like interesting stuff, whether it's campsites, whether it's litter, whatever it might be. And that I'm trying to get to like a 3-a-week schedule. One where it's a bit of a contentious issue. One that's maybe a bit more of a story, a bit like this. And then another one what might be like Q&A type things, or a little just a bit lighter hearted, a little bit easier to listen to. But I'm loving them. But YouTube itself, I am going to take a little bit of a break, probably for a couple of weeks, just not making any like actual YouTube videos. I know these go out as videos on YouTube, but just something, I just need a bit of breathing time, I suppose, a little bit of space, and just to look at things. And there's other bits I've been neglecting, like the guides and stuff. I need to update some bits and bobs. But anyway, this year, 2024, in the first 4 months, I've got the stats for that. Up to now, we've had 214,000 views. So if that carries on, I'll do the same as last year, roughly, which isn't obviously great, about 640,000. We're on 21,000 hours watch time, which isn't obviously fantastic. I mean, it's not too bad, I suppose. It'll probably finish on more, but that's just because I'm making longer videos. We're on 1,100 subs, which is pretty poor. It's strange that I see, I mean, before about 80% of our viewers used to be subscribed. Now it's down to about 50%. So people must be just watching and not subscribing. Subscribers didn't really mean a lot, to be honest. It's more of a vanity statistic, but it does help, I suppose, if people are wanting to work with brands, that kind of thing, because it just shows the size of the channel. But views are the main thing anyway. And up to now, I've made about £1,037, 10 pence. Well, not about. That's exactly how much I've made in AdSense. So if it carries on, I'll make more AdSense than I have done any year, which makes no sense at all. I think maybe because the videos are longer, YouTube shows more adverts on them. Possibly. I'm not sure. But the good thing is I'm in a better place. I'm enjoying the interactions with the non-knobheads more. Loving the podcast. This is here to stay. I'm debating also having on the Just Sloan's YouTube channel. I have got a separate one. I've only put one video on it. Posting podcasts that are not just about van and camper van and the sort of brand of Sloan's Media and the YouTube channel. Just something separate, because I love them. I love making them. It's fantastic. I've never been excited about something as much as I have podcasts for a long time. So, yeah, it's been great. So that is the story of, I suppose, of YouTube. It is a bit of a finicky, strange one. It's not all ups and downs. And if I could give a bit of advice to someone who's debating it, someone who maybe fancies doing YouTube, but they're not sure, what I would ask is, one, why do you want to do it? And two, do you make videos now? If you make a video regularly now, just you recording stuff, then YouTube is a natural progression. Why not try it? You make them, you just have to change them slightly to make them a bit easier for other people to watch. If you don't do any of that, then why you want to do it? Is it for money? Is it because you think it's a good job? If that's the case, great. Again, if you're willing to do something and not get paid a lot of money, then that's fine. But for a lot of people, they want to do it for money, and I think they're going to get more than they're going to. So I've got a friend who also does YouTube. He's got more subscribers than me. He's about 20,000 subscribers. He posts between 4 to 6 videos every week. Every single one of them are over half an hour long. He works 6-7 hours a day, every day for 7 days a week. Doesn't get any time away from YouTube, because you got to remember, you got your Instagram, you've got all the other socials that you need to keep track of, people emailing your brands to contact, sponsors to work with, comments to reply to, stuff to post, thumbnails to edit, videos to edit, all that. And he earns on average about 1,500 quid a month. That's quite a bit less than what minimum wage would be. If you break that down hourly, he's probably earning about a tenner an hour. That's less than minimum wage. So it depends. If you're in it for money, it's a long, long game that you're going to have to play. And if you're in it because you love making videos, that's a different thing. Go for it. Put your balls on the table and see what happens. But I hope this has helped. I hope it's been an interesting one. I hope it hasn't sounded like a rant. This is the 4th time I've recorded this podcast, because every other one has sounded like I'm just whinging about it. And that's not what I wanted it to sound like. Maybe this one has as well. I'll not know at this point. But thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you think of the new little studio. It's not finished yet. I'm going to probably get a couple of lights over here. Maybe. They're coming today. And I'm also getting a logo to put in the middle. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you rate the show, hopefully 5-star. But if you don't think it's 5-star, rate it someone else. That's your choice. But it would help if it was a good review. So I'm not doing paid reviews, though. I'm not doing the old Grand California tactic. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.